Welcome back. For this week, we'll look at economic analysis. Good work last week on your cultural analysis and your thoughts about HR if you were to work in another country. This week, you're going to look at the same country as you did last week. And you're again going to look at Keteor's economic outline and fill in as much as you can on that outline. So a lot of the sources that you'll be able to use for this will come from the tools report that we did a couple weeks ago, where you went through and looked at all these different sources of information. The one that I'm going to point out first to you here is number 13. This is the Atlas of Economic Complexity, and it's a great tool that comes from Harvard and MIT. The way it works is right here, you just type in a question that you're interested in. So for example, I could ask, what did Brazil export in 1995? That's a very generic question. But if I ask them, it will come up with this brilliant chart, and it gives me all this information on all these different parts of the export going out of Brazil. It's color coded, so this purple color you can see down here, it's showing you what all these are. Purple is services, green is textiles, yellow is vegetables and foodstuffs, brownish is stone and glass. You have minerals, metals, chemicals, transportation, machinery, and electronics. So for example, if we look at this purple color for transport vehicles, that represents the portion right up here. And we can see all the way down to very small portions and markets what's going on with the exports. But the largest one, it gives you the export code and it gives you the amount. So this was $1.17 billion in 1995, and that was a 2% share of their exports. Okay, down here there's a slider. If I slide this over, it will go all the way up to 2016, and it will update to show me what's going on now. You can do that all the way along for countries that you're interested in, or if you were really fascinated about Brazil, then I can show you here along the way. What I want you to do is ask a couple of questions based on what your country is that you studied in the cultural analysis last week. And you can do that by simply typing, what did, and then the name of the country, if it was the United States, export in, I don't know how far back they might have, but we can look at 1983. That might be, yeah, that's too far back. We can look at 1997. Okay, and it will come up with a very similar chart, but this is for the United States. So if it was transportation now, just the parts of motor vehicles was $28.2 billion in exports in 1997. So you can kind of compare across countries and timelines to see some differences. I want you to look at, for the same country, capture, an early as far back as the slider will take it, all the way up to the most recent. Capture both of those using the snipping tool, and just create something like this where you have both of them on your front page of your report for this week. Okay, hopefully that makes sense. So as far as the outline that you'll be filling in, it's gonna just look very similar to last week's outline, except this is all based on economic activity. And it's going to be more straightforward than the cultural analysis. There are two main categories. The first is just general economic data, things like population and gross domestic product. And then the second part is more focused on the channels of distribution and how to reach people through the media. So if you scroll through and look at it, it's attached to your assignment. It's a couple of pages. And what I would like you to do is to put your notes for each thing that you find. You know, like you would type in under each part of the outline before you turn it into paragraphs. So you'll turn in your notes and then you'll turn in the paragraphs both. And that way, when you need to access that information in the coming weeks, when you're putting together foreign market audits and competitive market analysis and supply chain arrangements, these are all things to come that you can't see quite yet. All of that is going to come in handy on for the economic side when you can look at your notes and see the sources for where you gathered that information. So if you're not using the Atlas of Economic Complexity or the CIA World Factbook, which is the same thing that you probably used last week, that's number 12 on this list, you have all these other tools to look for the information, and you can do a basic Google search, but try to make sure you're finding information in a reliable way. Well, once you have that, just turn that in, and you'll basically have the 2 screenshots from the Atlas, and you'll have your outline filled out with your notes, and then maybe like 3 pages written up summarizing what you found out. Alright, that's your report for this week. Again, Sunday at 11 o'clock. The second part is there's a forum, where there's a video again from Dr. Hoberman, and 4 questions looking at globalization. And once you have summarized your thoughts, please post that. Again, you need to do that before Sunday at 11 o'clock so that you can all have a conversation on that. Hopefully by Friday at 11 p.m. you can put that up. And then by Sunday at 11 p.m. just look at what your classmates wrote and you can have some input on that. So again, keep up the good work. I hope these videos are helpful to explain what's going on each week, and reach out to me at bhunter1@lagrange.edu if you need any help. And otherwise, look forward to seeing what you can do with this. Have a good day. Thank you.